Hi everyone, it's Matthew. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a Dancing with the Stars recap video, but I apologize. I got sick right before the cast reveal, and then I was moving, so that delayed everything even more. But I'm back. I'm going to be doing recap videos till the end of the season, and I'm really excited to be back talking about Dancing with the Stars. It's been a super long time. Now, this is part one of 2 nights. We're gonna be talking about part one, which is most memorable year. Unfortunately, it ended with a horrible withdrawal that still hurts my soul. Give me 1 second. So, a lot of good dances. Everyone danced really well. So let's dive in. Trevor and Emma are up first with a jazz to Viva La Vida from Coldplay. His most memorable year was 2009 when his acting career took off. First off, the cover of this song was a disgrace. Like, that cover hurt my soul. This is my favorite song in the entire planet, and they completely massacred it. Like, my God, it is so freaking bad. I can't even put in words. Now, the dance in itself was okay. I mean, the problem is compared to everyone else, he's just not that strong of a dancer. He I don't know if he's gonna make it past tomorrow's elimination. I mean tonight's elimination. He could, but I don't know. He got all eights, which I think it should have been sevens. Like, like it's just not his best dance. His best dance to this day is still his rumba. Like, I don't think anyone will argue with that. Shangela and Gleb with a foxtrot to Roar. His most memorable year was 2013 when he broke his leg and his mom was being there for him. First off, I love how the dance began and ended with his mom. I thought that was really sweet. This was actually my favorite dance from Shangela. I feel like when Shangela dances is like big and bold and like party and excitement, it's nice to see her this way. Like, it's nice to see her like elegant and graceful. Like, we haven't seen that yet. And I'm really glad that we finally got to see that. I thought it was great. The judges kind of disagreed with me, gave the same score as Trevor. I'm hoping that she gets higher scores. If not, then I think she's going to go home very soon, which I really don't want to happen, but you never know with the show. All right, let's talk about this train wreck. I can't even remember the exact year she did. I know she talked about her kids, but I can't remember the exact number year she did. But Jesse and Alan did a tango to Blue Jeans, which is her song. What the fuck was this song? I'm sorry, but this song was awful. Like, this was probably one of the worst songs I've ever heard, period. And it wasn't the band cover either. It was her song, but it just sucked so bad, and the dancing was no better. Like, if anyone should go home out of the people that's left, it's her. I'm sorry. I know some people like her, but I think she needs to go. I'm sorry. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. She got 29, which is the lowest score tonight. I went giving it 8. Derek gave pretty much 8s the whole night. Yeah, he never gave anything lower than an 8. And I know, and based on that, it's basically the logic is like, hey, I think this was just as good as Shangela and Trevor's. I'm like, no, it's not. Stop it. You need your paddles taken away, young man. All right. Gabby and Val with a foxtrot. Her year was 2020 when she was working as an ICU nurse during the COVID pandemic. First off, thank you to all the doctors and nurses who worked so hard during this pandemic. I can't even imagine what you guys have been through. And we all really appreciate your service and your dedication to the medical field. It is incredible. And I thought this foxtrot was also incredible. Like, this was my favorite dance from Gabby by far. Because I feel like for the first time, she was emotionally connected. Like, I felt like all of her other dances, she didn't perform it well. She just, because it didn't feel like she was connecting it. But this time was so much better. Like, I loved this dance. It got all nines. I would have thrown a 10 personally, but I know a lot of people are like crying about it. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, she sure got 10s. Why did Charlie get all these 10s? We'll get to her, Charlie, in a few minutes. But yeah, it's just like, it's okay. I don't know what the judges were on last night, but the scores, I'll get to them, but they're all over the place. Like what were they thinking? Like, legit. Who? What? Oh my god, there's an idiot comment that Carrie-Anne made. I would just write up next, but I think nines were fair. I would have thrown a 10 personally, but Joseph and Danielle to My Way from Frank Sinatra. That's a rumba, which was a rumba. His year was 2022 when he was coming out of his dad's shadow and being his own person. First off, I love the fact that some of it was in Spanish. I think the whole English to Spanish, I thought that was excellent. That was a great idea. And I thought the rumba was really good too. But Carrie-Anne, what the fuck? Carrie-Anne said that was the best male dance rumba she's ever seen. And I'm like, what? Were we watching the same dance? He was great, don't get me wrong, but the best ever? And by that logic, you sure gave it 10. She gave it a 9. But I'm like, if you're going to call him the best male dance rumba, like, that's a 10 then. I'm sorry. There's no way that should have been a 9. But he got a 34 out of 40, his highest score, which I agree with. I think that was more than fair. I really like him. Joseph was probably the biggest surprise this season because he's just so humble and kind, and that's what I like to see. I don't want to see people be like, "Yeah, I got this." Like, no, I want to see kindness. I want to see humility. That's what I want to see. Speaking of kind and humility, Danielle and Britt were a contemporary to both sides now, which was in the movie Coda. His year was 2019, and when she was filming the movie Coda, this was also amazing. I loved that they had the interpreter interpret the whole song. I thought that was excellent. And his contemporary was really good. I know he struggled a lot with the lips. The lips were a tiny bit shaky in places, but that contemporary was just amazing. He poured all his emotion into it. I loved it. 34 out of 40. More than fair. Jordan and Brandon with a salsa to Let's Get Married. Her year was, 2006. 7? It's 2006 to 2007. It's when she met her husband. I thought the salsa was great. I'm not sure what the judges were thinking, giving it 8s. Bruno gave it a 9. Bruno, I knew I always liked you. But I thought the salsa should have been all 9s across the board. Like, people are like, this is like one of her weakest dance. I'm like, were we watching the same one? That salsa was great. I'm hoping she does better tonight with the contemporary. I think she will. Speaking of contemporary, that was not intentional. Charlie and Mark had a contemporary to When the Party's Over. Her year was 2020. I keep forgetting the number of years. I should have written them down. But she was talking about her anxiety and her depression, and I can relate. I had anxiety. I have depression. I thought about suicide before. I can totally relate to Charlie's story. And I love how Mark represented anxiety in the dance. It was beautiful. It was probably my favorite contemporary I've ever seen on the show. And that is a big thing for me to say, but it's really true. I couldn't say more nice words. Len gave it a 9 and everyone else gave it a 10. I know why he gave it a 10, and we'll get to that in a minute. But 39 out of 40. That's a great score. Vinny and Coco up next with a Jazz to Levels by Archie. This was 2009. Jersey Shore star. It changed his life. I thought this Jazz was okay. I think it was Len who said it was kind of safe. I do agree with that. I do think he could handle just a tiny bit more. But I guess 8s is normal. I don't think 8s is right, but based on how they've been scoring everyone else tonight, I think that's fair. But would I personally give it an 8? I would give it a 7. But Heidi and Artem with a rumba to I Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Lauryn Hill. Her year was 1997, moving from Louisiana to New York. First off, what the fuck was that cover? I don't know what's going on with this band tonight, but these covers were yikes. Yikes is the best way I could say it. But that was just bad. I'm sorry. The rumor itself was good. It's not her best dance, in my opinion. Her best dance was last week. Her Viennese Waltz was. But she got all 30s, all 9s. I don't agree with that because, based on that logic, she was the same as Gabby, and that is not true. I'm sorry. But it's not my favorite from hers, but whatever. I don't judge here. I just pretend I do. All right, Wayne and Whitney with Foxtrot to Beautiful from Cinderella 2, one of his songs. I love this dance. It was dedicated to his daughter, who was born in 2003. It was just a proper foxtrot. No gimmicks. It was just him gliding across the floor with Whitney, and it was great. He got 110. That should have been all 10s. I'm not going to argue with anyone on that. That should have been all 10s. Shut up. All right, and then unfortunately, the last dance was Selma and Sasha waltz to What the World Needs Now. Unfortunately, she has withdrawn from the competition due to medical reasons with her MS. This was truly heartbreaking. She was my favorite of the whole cast. I really loved her. I wanted her to win. I really did. I wanted her to have that Mirrorball trophy. And unfortunately, it's not. And you know what the worst part is? She loved being there, which made it hurt so much more. I've been watching the show since season 18. Been through so many eliminations, so many withdrawals. This was the worst one by far. This was legit painful. Not because of her, but because I really wanted her to win. But they gave her the first perfect score, which is probably why Len did not give Charlie a 9. I'm okay with that now. I'm at peace with that. But I'm glad that Selma was able to end on her terms. And she should replace Tyra as co-host. I'm just saying, Dance with the Stars. If you want someone who's extremely passionate about the show, Selma Blair is right there. Just going to leave it at that. All right, was all the dances. Tonight is prom night, which means we'll be back here tomorrow. They're each doing an individual dance, and then we have 2 marathons. It's either the Hustle or the Lindy Hop. There's 11 couples, so I assume whoever has the highest season average will be safe and not be in the marathons, which is definitely Charlie, especially with the 310 she got last night. But I assume that's how they're going to do that, because it would be an odd number otherwise. But it's going to be interesting. Comment down below. Who had you crying during the most memorable year? Who do you want to win? And lastly, what theme do you want to see next? I know Michael Bublé night's next, but what themes would you want to see in the future? Comment all that down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.